Dearest viewer, it is time to recap Bridgerton Season 1, Episode 4, An Affair of Honor. And this might just be one of the most dramatic episodes of Bridgerton that we have faced thus far. Okay, I just want everyone to be prepared and know what we're getting into. Also, I wanted to note, we're back to blue and red. We are divided on like their costumes. Like blue and red, not sure if you know this, babe, they're not next to each other on the color wheel. Also, the fact that they're just those individual families' colors and there's no merging or blending in any type of purple color. And in this episode, the prince is always in blue, which means like he's, in my head, he's only focused on Daphne. And Daphne is wearing white dresses in this episode, but there's a certain point in this where she's got a little bit of a black shawl and a black bow in her hair. We'll get to that later. At the beginning of this episode, Daphne is being diligently pursued by the prince. Okay, at this point, Simon has stormed out. Daphne is ready to get married, and the prince seems like her best prospect. And so, you know what? Our girl, our diamond of the season, is going for it. The queen could not be more pleased. Queen Charlotte is getting exactly what she wanted. Her nephew is getting this match of the diamond. She looks like she knows exactly how to run this marriage mart. And because of this courtship, Daphne receives a necklace from the prince, which is this very large, heavy, jeweled necklace. But I want to note here that the way it sits on her versus any other jewelry she's worn thus far sits very much like a collar. Okay, very high up, tight necklace, not draping, not like, it's held very much kind of like a collar. I think we're supposed to pick up on that, but that's not why the prince is giving it to her. Okay, so I am not here to insult Prince Friedrich. As she's receiving this necklace from the prince, as he's putting it on her and talking to her while he's closing the clasp of this necklace, she imagines that it's Simon putting this necklace on. And so now we know these two idiots, these two Regency idiots, really love and care for one another, but they can't freaking figure that out. And because of their vows and trying to like get back at one another, they are just not communicating their love. But I love how the series does this, because when I lay it out like that, it sounds very much just like cheap miscommunication that's used for every like third act conflict in like a romance book. But I really want to iterate here that Bridgerton does such a good job of showing each of these characters' flaws and why they're like not getting along, or making everything in the period of their time interfere with them just being able to be like open and honest and being like, I want to be with you, right? As Daphne is getting ready for the first ball of the episode, she reveals to Violet that her and Simon's attachment was fake. She's like, Mom, listen, because Violet's like, no, honey, like I know the prince gave you this beautiful necklace, but like you really liked Simon, so you should go. And Daphne's like, no, Mom, I didn't like him. It was fake. We fooled you. And Violet's just kind of sitting there like, babe, I know what I saw. But okay, she's a good mother. She's gonna listen to her daughter lie to her face. You know, she's not really lying because it was a ruse, but like it turned into something more. So Violet's just like, okay, sure. Okay, honey, sure. Like very much like this is a phase you're going through and you're gonna figure out what needs to go on. Anyway, it's just a really beautiful scene too, because the way it's played, as much as I'm kind of talking about it comedically, Violet really realizes the way that she's holding this necklace, and they talk through the subtext of this necklace of like, is this the necklace that you would have picked for yourself? And Daphne's like, well, no, but it's beautiful. And Violet's like, but would you have picked it? And is almost the insinuation of, because the necklace is from the prince, the necklace holds so much symbolic weight. Let's give a little round of applause for this necklace in this episode, because it's really doing the absolute most. Violet realizes that her daughter is making a choice. She's upset about not being with Simon, but this is her choice to move forward. And again, since I think women in this show have to find agency in ways that they can't because they're not afforded the same rights and opportunities as modern day women, I think this is such an important and interesting scene, because Violet has to come to terms with the fact that she can't control her own daughter, and her daughter has to pick her own fate for herself. And if her daughter can't be with the man that she loves for whatever reason, even though Violet thinks like love should just be easy and conquer all, because that's how it was with her and Edmund, Daphne, like she has to accept the fact that Daphne's made this choice. So it's just kind of this really beautiful mother-daughter scene, even though it's kind of has this sad subtext. But now it's time for a ball, okay? Pretty dresses, pretty music, dancing, parties, drinking, lemonade, club, another club. As Daphne and the prince are dancing, he is about to propose to her. Like the way he's speaking is about like her station and how wonderful of a woman she is, and how caring she is about her family, and how he so appreciates and admires that about her. And Daphne starts to basically hyperventilate. Like she's like, I can't do this because everyone's around, everyone knows it's coming, they're all paying attention to her, especially Cressida, who's pissed because Cressida was gonna get the prince's favor, you know, but then the prince was like, oh, Daphne's available, I'll go for Daphne. In some ways I do feel a little bad for Cressida, but then she's constantly a jerk, so we'll save those feelings, complicated feelings about her for later. So Daphne is like, I need some air, I need to go outside. Like she plays it off like, hee, I need to go outside, like whatever. And everyone is like, oh, maybe she's just overwhelmed, whatever. She goes outside and she immediately takes this necklace off, and as soon as she takes it off, she's like breathing deeply, and that's where I feel like you get the insinuation of it being like a collar, the way she like rips this thing off, like she just doesn't want it on her, and it doesn't matter that it's this expensive, beautiful piece of jewelry. She feels restricted and restrained by this gift, the prince, the attention. Like she feels like she's getting trapped into a life she doesn't want. Like even though it would be a much better life than what Nigel Burbrook would have offered her, it still feels like entrapment. Simon is about to leave town simultaneous to this ball. He's at home, he's about to leave town, and Lady Danbury's like, oh, do you remember this painting? Like, you remember this painting? And Simon's like, oh, that's the painting where Daphne and I hold hands. He doesn't say this to Lady Danbury, but we know he's thinking about it. And so he's kind of inspired by the fact that, like, I have this bond with this woman and, like, I need to say goodbye to her. So he rushes to the ball and arrives in the garden to find Daphne in her flustered state. And she's pissed, babes. She's pissed. And she's like, you know what? I'm planning this beautiful life for myself. I don't care that you don't want to be friends with me. I am going to be a princess. I'm doing just fine, actually. She's very visibly not doing just fine, and you're just kind of like, Daph, who do you think you're fooling, babe? He's like trying to talk to her, and so she just storms off. She goes into the garden. She's like, I came out here to breathe. Can't even breathe. You're around now. Like, leave me the frick alone. And naturally, Simon, as many of the men in Bridgerton you will find, simply just follow the women that they love. So he's following her through this labyrinth type maze. And when he finally like grabs her hand and is like, can you just slow down for a second? Can you just stop? He kisses her. And this, ordinarily in any other show, you'd think they're kissed. That's fine. One, honey, this is a little bit hotter and heavier than a kiss than just like a little pet. You know what I'm saying? But also, it's Regency time. Like, them kissing in this garden is very scandalous, very against code, but you're so excited about it that you're not thinking about that. You're like, oh my God, they're finally together. They finally are going to be able to admit their feeling for each other. Like, they have this passionate kiss. Who storms out there but Anthony, my man Anthony? He storms out there and he's like, get your hands off my sister, you dirty rake, you dirty disgusting, I can't believe that you would accuse Nigel Burbrook of this and then do it yourself, and he is pissed. And immediately Simon's like impassioned, like need to talk to her and need to kiss her is transformed into this like sad puppy face, because Anthony is like, you will wed her. Like, I don't give a damn about you not wanting to take a wife, and I don't care anymore. You're gonna marry her, because you're not gonna come in here and ruin her and be like all buddy with me and not marry her. And he goes, I can't. And us and Daphne's like appalled, because you're like, you just freaking kissed me, you just ruined me, essentially, and you're not gonna marry me. And Anthony is like pissed off, because of course he is, he's drama queen. And so he says, duel, meet you at dawn, buddy. Like we've said before, this man is, his first instinct is to jump to a duel. And what is actually hilarious is this never comes up in season 2, but like the fact that it's mentioned not once but twice here. If I had a nickel for every time Anthony Bridgerton suggested a duel at the sake of his sister being ruined, I'd have 2 nickels, which is not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right? And so now comes like the moment I really tapped into being a Bridgerton fan. Like when I first saw this in like early 2021, my goodness, was I tapped in. Like, let me tell you something, because if there's anything that happened to me in 2020, it was Hamilton. And so it's time for the 10 duel commandments. The 10 duel commandments. Number 1, Anthony demands satisfaction. They agree to meet at dawn. Okay, no, I can't do this. I really wanted to find a way to like wrap all of these, but I'm not creative enough to do that. So I just listed out 10 things that are about to happen. So let me run you through them, okay? Anthony demands satisfaction. They agree to meet at dawn. At home, he asks Benedict, who has just come home from a night of being a peaceful little artist boy, to be his second. And Simon asks Will to be his second. No peace is tried to be negotiated, as Hamilton might suggest, because these boys are silly. They are dramatic little silly boys. Like, they are not going to try to negotiate a peace. No. What do you think they are? No, they demand satisfaction, okay? Anthony explains that whether he wins and runs from the law or dies, Benedict is now the head of the family, which Benedict has just had this wonderful night out enjoying being a second son. And the fact that the second son doesn't have to run the household, doesn't have to be responsible for the girls, he can go and marry if he likes, he can pursue a craft if he likes, and that's the beauty of his standing as a second born son. Like, he can just be wealthy and have rank but not have to do anything. And now all of a sudden he's like, what the hell? You're saying overnight I could suddenly be the head of the household? I don't think so. Also, like, how dumb is my brother to put me in this situation? Anthony then goes to see Sienna and he tells Benedict, whatever happens, please ensure that she's cared for. Pay for her apartment, pay for her life, please take care of her. And then number 8, get a doctor on site, you pay him in advance, treat him with civility, you need to make him turn around so he can have deniability. They look in the eye, they walk 10 paces back. Anthony aims at Simon. Simon aims for the sky. And then Daphne comes charging in on a horse. Reenacting the scene for you now. This is not just a plot summary. This is a reenactment. She's running in and she runs into the duel as Will, Simon, Benedict, and Anthony are all standing there about to fire their guns. As Anthony fires his gun at Simon and Simon goes to fire at the sky, Daphne's horse gets scared, flings her backwards. All of them scream because they're all basically like, oh, a woman has shown up to the duel. Like, this is all of a sudden it's dangerous. We're realizing how stupid this was, whatever. Simon runs to her aid. Like, this is the 100-meter dash. Anthony, the drama queen he is like, get away from my sister. Like, I know I almost just killed you, but like, get away from my sister. Thankfully, Daphne pops up right away and she's not injured. She's not hurt at all, but she is pissed to high heaven because she is like, what the hell is going on? You guys just decided to have this duel. First of all, you kissed me, then you showed up and accused me, and then you decided to duel and you didn't let me know what's going on because, you know, women are not privy to these matters. And she is like, I demand a moment alone with Simon. Like, basically, like, you can't put me into the garden to kiss me and then not have a conversation with me. So she pulls him alone and she demands that he marry her. And he reveals that he cannot. And I'm going to need to pause here and reiterate because I'm going to need you to hear the words I'm saying and focus on the words and the phrasing, okay? Simon cannot give her children, and marrying her, he fears, will destroy her dream of becoming a mother. Daphne quickly analyzes the situation, goes, okay, I'm in love with this man. The only other option is that my brother kills him or he kills my brother, and they're all like gone forever and I never see them again. And I won't be able to be a mom, but like that'd be okay because I'd be with the man I loved. And she basically decides, Daphne Bridgerton says, duel's off, we wed. I feel like the energy of this episode and the drama of it is so high because it's such a high to see them kiss and then such a low to realize like they're not just gonna be together now. And the fact that like Anthony misinterprets the situation and like how complicated it is, like the way that Bridgerton keeps the tension going this season with it being like not a super duper slow burn is so impressive to me. I absolutely love it. Lock me up for loving it because I do. And the one additional PS plot that I want to add here is the fact that the night that this kiss happens to Daphne and the night that the duel is happening, because it's all the same night, Violet drinks a little too much. She has one too many at the party, which, you know, she's a dowager lady of the ton. She's allowed to have a little beverage, okay? But she gets so drunk that Colin has to walk her up the stairs home and she goes right to sleep. So she's not privy to anything that has gone on this night, right? She's not privy to the Prince situation. She's not privy to the Daphne and the Simon situation. She's certainly not privy to the duel or any of the stuff that has gone on in her children's life. And that's where this episode leaves us. Okay, so thank you guys for sticking through yet another one of these Bridgerton recaps. I would love for you, if you've made it through this fourth one, to leave me a comment below letting me know whether or not you want the next couple of episodes and or season 2 all in one episode. Because in this season, I've realized the first one is pretty long, the first recap, but all the rest have been like under 20 minutes for me to be able to do, and I'm sure shorter by the time I've edited them for you. So let me know what your thoughts are on that, but I'd love your feedback on it for season 2 specifically. With that all being said, I so appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching this. Please be sure to like and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more of these plot summaries for Bridgerton. For other series, I'm working on some Marvel ones to walk everyone through the entirety of the MCU, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much again. Have a wonderful day or night whenever you're getting to watch this, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, y'all.